Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Just as the nationalists like to evoke the name of William Wallace as their figurehead for their campaign of independence and use the film Braveheart as a sort of rallying cry to their cause, even though it's an absolute work of fiction. Great film, but an absolute work of fiction. So people on the Unionist side need their heroes too, and there have been several over the years, but I would like to propose a new one. Now, they say not all heroes wear capes, but this one does, albeit one made of ermine. We're talking about George Foulkes, or Baron Foulkes now. He was actually born English, born in Shropshire, but a more Scottish Scotsman you have yet to meet. And he is absolutely ashamed of what's happening to his country at the hands of the SNP. He is determined to turn things around. And when Parliament starts next week, he is proposing a 5-point plan to bring the mad dog of the SNP completely to heel and to make it obedient to the whim and will of the people. This man we're looking to literally pull the teeth out of the SNP to stop it damaging Scotland any further. And we're going to have a look at this article because he is absolutely adamant that this needs to happen, and I think he is now the new focus, I think, that the Unionists can get behind to force these mad people, these bonkers, dangerous people, to stop doing the destructive forces that they're unleashing across the whole of the country. And it is a cancer. It is a metastasizing cancer that's coming from the SNP. And George Foulkes is ready to fight the good fight, to raise his head above the parapet and to shout, that the cause is his. Here goes. So Lord Foulkes' 5-point plan to bring the SNP to heel as he prepares to take the fight to the nationalists on the Westminster return. The Labour peer is undeterred by a recent Nat attack as he continues his bid to stop the SNP wasting taxpayer cash on trying to break up the country. And there is an old George here may well very much find a lot of people of all parties rallying to his cause, getting behind him, wishing him on, and pushing for the utter destruction of the SNP, who are, as I say, so destructive in everything they do. We did the video earlier about their deliberate destruction of the Scottish tourism industry, and that's just the start of it. One only has to look at every single other aspect of what they've done to see how damaging they truly are. So, Baron Foulkes of Cumnock has set out a 5-point plan to tackle the SNP when Parliament returns next week, as he vowed to continue the fight to bring the nationalists under control. The Labour peer has become a central figure in the battle to stop the Nats from using taxpayer money in their bid to destroy the country. And destroy the country, make no bones about it. Destruction is their goal. They are applying a scorched earth policy. They are like the German army receding from Moscow, the gates of Moscow, during the war. They're making sure that as they go back, they burn everything to the ground to stop anyone using what they leave against them. And that is what they are doing. His efforts have earned him disdain from figures within the Skexit movement, and on Friday he was featured on the front page of the SNP supporting Pravda after he called Scotland an elected dictatorship, and only just elected, to be fair. But the former MP is undeterred as he vowed to continue his campaign from the red benches of the House of Lords. And as I say, we all need to get behind him regardless of his internal politics being Labour. That is immaterial. What he is doing is he is being on the side of angels. And whatever your political viewpoint, Tory, Lib Dem, Labour, whatever, if you are a Unionist, you need to support this man and this cause. This is beyond, I think, party political. This is for the very heart, soul, and indeed existence of Scotland as an absolute nation. I mean, without this, Scotland actually ceases to be a nation. It becomes a wasteland, a failed state, a dictatorship ruled by an elite cabal whose whole purpose is to destroy and dismantle everything that they can. Lord Foulkes has already persuaded the head of the civil service, Simon Case, to look at the SNP's use of government staff to push a party policy at Holyrood that is out with the government's remit. And he's also been calling on the Treasury to rein in that spending on the likes of independence prospectus papers and the role of the Minister for Independence. I mean, you're paying, like I say, it's probably about 120 with expenses, 120,000 a year, just for him, just for Jamie Hebburn. But then he's got all his staff, and then, you know, he's producing all these papers and things. It's millions of pounds a year wasted, taxpayers' money wasted on something that even Hebburn himself admits cannot ever be achieved by his office because they do not have the powers to do it. It is just money for old rope, jobs for the boys, a little payout for Humza's bum chum. It's as simple as that. He told the Scottish Daily Express that he had no intention of stopping when Parliament returns from recess. He identified 5 areas he wants to pursue, either through questions in the chamber or at committee level. He ultimately wants to see a full debate on all 5. And I do hope he gets it. And everyone on all sides of the House on this one needs to stop fighting amongst themselves for one of these. This is one of these all-party policies. They need to stop any kind of internal politicking on it and just get behind him, because otherwise Scotland will just fall into a failed city or a failed state status, and then whoever it comes later has to try and fix it, and it may be already far too late. It may be unfixable at this stage. Lord Foulkes said he would follow up with Simon Case to see what action he'd been taken and continue to challenge the spending on some of the overseas offices and trips overseas by ministers, looking at you, Air Miles Angus Robertson, but also those not embassies that they have that cost millions of pounds a year when their functions are fully covered by the British Embassy. Why are they there? Why are taxpayers wanking away money like that on offices that are never even used? He will also follow up concerns that money allocated by the Treasury to the Scottish Government for specific purposes has been diverted elsewhere, or fraud as we call it. And we were looking at that at the end of last week when there was the agriculture money never went to the farmers, and the domestic rates money, or the non-domestic rates money never went to the businesses. It's all sorts of things, and it needs to be stopped. Instead of handing the money to the SNP to hand out, it needs to go directly from Westminster to those who need it. Take out a level of bureaucracy and ensure that the people who need it actually get it, and it isn't going to line the coffers of the SNP or the pockets of those people in the SNP. I wouldn't put that against them either. Another focus will be the highlighting SNP failures and waste. I hope he's got a big notebook for that one. That is a very, very long list. Among these will be the deals with Sanjeev Gupta's GFG Alliance, the ferry fiasco, the malicious Rangers prosecutions, credit card expenditure by government staff, and of course, and not least of all, the botched deposit return scheme, and whose fault we must make sure the blame stops firmly at the Greens in general and at Jeffrey in particular. She has been the complete and utter cause of that. Finally, he will continue to challenge the spending on the role of Skexit Minister and his retinue. Jamie Hebburn MSP was handed the role by Humza Yousaf, allowing to pick a ministerial salary of nearly £100,000 plus, as I say, expenses. Lord Foulkes caused a stir this week when he took to social media and said, when at House of Lords returns on Monday, I will be intensifying my campaign to stop illegal spending by Scott Gov. An elected dictatorship is always wrong, and when it is devolved government, there is a way it can be stopped if the UK government exercises its responsibility. Now, of course, it already has with the Section 35 on the Gender Reform Bill, and I think it needs to start Section 35ing a lot more. And we mean a lot more, because some of the things they're proposing are so obviously wrong, so obviously dangerous in terms of policy, so obviously dangerous in terms of economy, that by not stopping them, by not putting a Section 35 on them, or at least by not forcing them to cease and desist, and you need to start threatening the abnegation of the Scottish Parliament in totality to do this. To not do that would be a dereliction of care, a dereliction of duty by Westminster over what are still British citizens. And this is what the SNP forget, that the people of Scotland are still British citizens and they deserve the protection from the British system. The British Parliament needs to protect the people of Scotland from the SNP. And that is what these people forget. Anyway, I'm going to round off there and I'm going to come up and we will finish. So we wish George Foulkes, Lord or Baron Foulkes, all the very best on his endeavours. All power to his elbow. And we do hope that everyone who can get behind him does get behind him. But the Unionists as, a cause, all of us, regardless of whatever political background we have, as I say, it's not a political matter. It is a survival matter. And regardless of whatever our backgrounds are, we get together, we support this. It is a Labour motion. It is a Labour Lord. But we support him, and if you're a Conservative or if you're a Lib Dem, still get behind him. Obviously, with Labour, you'll get behind him. But I'd ask that regardless of what your background is, get behind him, support him, wish him well, push. Ask your local MP if he would support and push and get in contact with Lord Foulkes to push this through. Make sure your local MP, regardless of your constituency, regardless of whatever party he is or she is, pushes this forward to make sure it goes to the full debate, to make sure that the SNP are aware of what the potential outcomes for them are should they continue this deliberate malfeasance in office. What they are doing, I'm pretty sure, some of their policies amount to illegal activity because they are literally becoming a crime organisation. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this. If you've got to this point and you haven't yet subscribed, now is an ideal time. I think this was an excellent video myself, and I think if I was watching it and I wasn't subscribed, I'd damn well subscribe. So hit that button and help the channel grow, and let's keep the truth out there and let's back this man. Anyway, until next time, stay safe, stay well, and remember, George Foulkes is the new kind of hero for our time, and we need him. And let's see him leaping building to building with his cape. Bye.